gang? Joyce with Skipping Calves Farms here. It's been a busy afternoon. As you can see, I have gotten the greenhouse moved, but as you can also see, it's still empty, and the sun is just barely over the yard arm, as my dad would say. But it had been located here, and I was able to move it using the wheels from the chicken tractor, but in order to pivot it, I had to prop it up and use this PVC pipe, and then it took quite a while to try and get it leveled. So on this corner we've got a capstone. On this corner we've got just a piece of floor tile. This is the high corner, so there's nothing under it other than ground. And on this corner, well, we've got floor tile and a scrap piece of deck wood that's a inch, which makes it 3/4. And then I'm thinking, well, what are we going to do inside? I didn't get a shot of it, but right about in the middle there, where it says U-Haul in the middle, is that tree stump that is that you may have seen in previous videos, between the peach tree and the peach tree. So I went out and got a wheelbarrow full of partially composted wood chips, spread it around the stump, put that in the middle, got a hold of 3 U-Haul blankets, and set them up so they overlap on the side to try and keep any wind and or critters from coming in, including in the front. But there's a little bit of a gap because I couldn't really get the staples. Couldn't get the staples all the way right to the edge. And I did put a little bit of compost across the front because there was quite a gap there. So you can still see a little bit of a gap or light, but and that's taken me all afternoon because it took me all morning to finish emptying it. It looks a whole lot bigger when it's empty than it does when it's full. So what I had was I was thinking about putting weed cloth down, and then I prayed about it and I got overrided. So I went ahead and put down these blankets. The idea is that it's for the seeding and seedling season this spring, and then I'm probably not going to leave this here permanently. This rack, the rack itself pulls up, the legs come down, and that rack that was in the back is actually fits onto those brackets, and then has two legs that I made out of that bed frame that come down. So those haven't gotten back in. There is the frame that I used for the big square fan. I've got my LED light, and I don't have the extension cord in here. At this point in time, I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to have it set up, but the power strip was hooked up under that table. So we'll just kind of do what we can. Since I am running out of light, gang, I'm going to keep this pretty short. because I gotta get all of this stuff. I use this metal bar as a lever. It is part of that same bed frame that I had gotten from a thrift store years ago. Wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it, but use it a little bit here and there. And so you can see all of this stuff was all stuff that was inside, and I'm going to be putting back inside the greenhouse. A little stool, the buckets with various solutions and soils, the gray table, the bed frame rack, the fogger, and the peat moss and wood chips and all the other paraphernalia that I had working with the table over here. So with that, gang, I am starting to lose my light, and I've got about a half an hour, 40 minutes before I have to put the animals to bed. So it's been a busy day, but Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise, we'll be able to use the greenhouse without it getting too hot this spring. So when we have really cold nights, I can put heat in there. But when we have warm days, I have a hard time keeping it cool. And so by changing the orientation so it's facing almost due south, I'll be able to get better coverage with my and access with my shade cloth, and I won't have to worry about the sun hitting this back panel, which it did most of the day. You know, from noon on, it was hitting this back panel, and it was creating a lot of heat that wasn't getting out. So hopefully we'll be able to do a little bit better this year on our garden than we did last year, and continue to do so. But I really, in looking around, very encouraged with what's going on with the soil in terms of organics and soil microbiome. What I'm working on now is coming up with chemical formulas to be able to add trace minerals. I can do some things like that on my property because it's a small property. And I do have a background in science and a minor in chemistry. So I can reasonably accurately calculate things out so that if what my soil needs, I forget what the actual numbers are, but I think it's like 0.08 to 0.15 parts per million of copper. And so you got to be able to calculate that and dilute it down and concentrate it and dilute it down and get the right amount, because if you get too much, you'll kill. It becomes a fungicide. You'll kill the mycorrhizal fungi in the soil. But I need to do something because these trees are really getting hammered pretty bad. So I've got copper and boron and zinc and calcium and phosphorus. Those are the solutions that I've either already manufactured or I'm currently working on. So with that, gang, let me shush up and get back to work. So with that, look at that mess. Hopefully next time you see the driveway, it's not going to be this bad. With that, gang, I'll wish you blessings for the day, and whatever you do, just keep chasing the dream.